Okay, good morning to all. Uh, can I request people to settle down? Hope to start on time such that we don't struggle towards the end of the session. Want to announce that to ensure that everybody is in the right room, this is the Sanitation and SWOPs session. Sanitation and wastewater management in water operator partnerships. And I hope everybody is in the right room with it. We are hoping a few more people will join. My name is Suresh Rohila. I'm the program lead at International Water Association. And I lead a new initiative called Inclusive Urban Sanitation, which is a cross-cutting program of International Water Association to make cities more resilient, wise, and sanitation secure. And can I have the moderator's presentation online? Yeah. I would be using few slides to give you an overview of today's session. This session is co-convened with international partners, SEPT University, India, based in Ahmedabad, GUAPA Water Partnership, Dutch Water Operators, WEI, Waterlinks, and German Water Partnerships. We have come together and put this session, and we hope to have interesting discussions. The overall frame of today's session is that how to include the responsibility for sanitation in water utilities in urban areas, and we have some convincing stories from all over the world to say that it makes sense and it is the right time. And three main objectives of this session is that how can SWOPs improve and scale sanitation services and wastewater management. And the second objective is how do operators include private and unregulated sector that play a vital role for sanitation services. And the third objective is how can sanitation SWOPs can support climate action. So these are the three broad objectives of today's session. And we have interesting panel of speakers today. And just to give you an overview, I would be inviting each speaker one by one to come and speak. But before that, I wanted to give you an overview of today's agenda. We would be having a presentation from GUAPA, Julie Parkins. I'll start with that. And then we have another one online presentation from Asim Masuri. And then we would follow up with short pitch by three partnerships, Waterlinks, German Water Partnership, and Wetins International, which is a Dutch partnership. And after that, we will break out into three different tables, breakout session. It will be a group activity for half an hour. And we intend to have one group in this room and two groups outside. And we come back again, and this will be followed with a Mentimeter survey to decide the takeaways of this session. And I am being helped by some of the GUAPA colleagues here. Ajit is here. I think Ajit is here backside. And Josephine is around, I think, yeah. So we are three of us. We'll be able to help you, guide you to which groups you want to be, and try to conduct the session as best as possible with the support. We also have one of the speakers, we have two speakers. One I told you, Asim, joining online. Other speaker will be also joining for the third pitch online. So we have two speakers online. So, but without much ado, I would like to say that we are looking forward to the presentations which all partners have put together. And I would like to introduce our first speaker of the day, Julie Parkins. Julie, I would like to give a brief about Julie, that she's an urban water sustainability professional at Global Water Operators Partnership Alliance Secretariat at Bonn. It is a initiative based off UN Habitat, and she has an extensive experience of working in this space. So Julie, if you can take the floor and take us through with the sanitation vision, sanitation strategy vision, how water operators can integrate this into it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Suresh, and thank you everybody for coming to this session. This is a long time coming. We've been wanting to fortify our work in sanitation for quite a while, and it's with the support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that last year we were able to bring on a new sanitation specialist, Shobana, who quickly did what happens to a lot of GWAPA staff. They got pregnant and went on maternity leave. So I'm speaking on her behalf in a way, and I thank Josephine and Arjit, who've really helped sort of fill in the gap while Shobana has been looking after her new baby, Naila. So GWAPA is seeing this as a great opportunity to really strengthen its work overall. There's a need for, and let me just turn this way also so you can see the changes. There's really a significant need to engage operators more actively in the sanitation space. In terms of the gap, it's at least twice as big towards meeting the SDGs for sanitation than it is for water. The population is massive if we're going to reach and make any progress towards 2030. And it's quite a complex space. So many stakeholders, technical complexity, this long value chain, and this is actually giving rise to a lot of opportunity for engagement, for greater engagement of operators and more knowledge sharing and peer support between them to address these gaps. Looking at the challenges of operators, of course, there are many, and you're familiar with them, but they're really being aggravated by things like rapid urban growth, a mandate issue, which is really pervasive. There's often, utilities themselves often do not have a strong mandate for sanitation, and not at all for non-sewage sanitation in many cases. Tariff structures for wastewater are sometimes totally non-existent, and measures like ring fencing to support sanitation financing are completely unavailable or missing. Regulatory systems are often unavailable for non-sewage sanitation, even though they exist for sewerage. And this is something that we're seeing that how the institutional responsibilities are dispersed so greatly is really something that's very evident also when you look at things like shade flow diagrams. We're seeing how some cities have massive gaps in their responsibilities and in the treatment conveyance infrastructures. So there's a great complexity in the number of stakeholders and the dynamics between them. So these things you're all very familiar with, and what makes it very difficult for sanitation to be achieved and for operators to have a strong role within this at city level. So within GWAPA, we have, GWAPA is an alliance. There are WAP partnerships that we support directly, but we're a secretariat for a global alliance, and there are a lot of these peer-to-peer partnerships that have taken place over the decades, and sanitation has featured, however, not very strongly. There have been there are SWOPs in, elements of sanitation that are taking place in programs like the EU WAP program, the German utility platform, Waterworks. The RASOP is a more significant one that maybe some of you were involved in Africa, that was really more focused on non-sewage sanitation and moving into looking at the WAP model to really address sanitation in a more serious way, looking at those areas that those new mandates for utilities, particularly in Africa, who are picking them up at a greater pace. And then now with the support of the citywide inclusive sanitation program, with the support of Gates, we're really looking at picking this up. So this is just a number of features. I'm sorry, I'm not changing the slide. The sort of a bit of a mapping about where these themes are prevalent. They're in Latin America and the Caribbean. We've seen quite a number of WAPs addressing this issues of sanitation, more or less, and quite a number in Africa as well, and elsewhere just really not so many on record. And this is fewer than 20% of those that we have in our global database with nearly 500 records. So there's really a growing need to promote sanitation, make it more of a direct focus of what we do. and really a lot of opportunities for this now. So we have a real commitment to make this happen, and we want to do this by looking at our 3 activity areas. So one of the first things we do is raising awareness about operators and about WOPs. So in this case, strengthening this in our strategy is about strengthening awareness around sanitation issues related to operators and the possibility for operators partnerships focused on sanitation, so what we're calling SWOPs. Advancing knowledge and knowledge sharing is a really important aspect, of course, of what we do for improved sanitation services. So making more information aware about what the issues are, how they can be overcome with capacity performance and sustainable financing all along the chain. And then looking at how SWOPs are actually different than WOPs and how we can facilitate learning about how to do these partnerships differently, and the opportunities that they might hold for service providers in different contexts. So there are the 3 strategic outcome areas that are envisaged for this are developing our strengthening, fortifying the GWAPA strategy with sanitation. Are that SWOPs are better known, widely supported and funded. So this looks at promoting more partnerships focused around sanitation, raising more awareness and communications around SWOPs as a means for building capacity at municipal level around sanitation, and being global advocates for sanitation and the role of utilities also in more holistic, inclusive sanitation at city level. Strengthening sanitation as a public service, and mobilizing finance for SWOPs and financing. And then in our area of work around knowledge building, this is facilitating knowledge management and sharing around these topics, monitoring SWOPs, so developing new key performance indicators and capacity indicators around what it means to do WOPs on these topics, and evidence collection and sharing. And then GWAPA is a strong and fruitful solidarity network. This is around building our membership and our operational projects. So this looks at expanding our membership to include more operators that have these kinds of mandates, but also looking at maybe addressing more municipalities in our membership, so that we're covering a wider range of service providers, as well as community service providers and small-scale private providers. And then strengthening WOPs platforms and partnership programs also to be integrating these kinds of themes. And finally, to be discussing this through our thematic hubs, through our communities of practice. There's already a strong sanitation, wastewater community of practice, an active one in our community, so strengthening this further. Finally, just a little thought on how SWOPs are different than WOPs, and I think this is something that some of you will be getting into in your presentations of these partnerships. But there really is they're kind of a different kettle of fish. They're very much peer supported, but because of the complexity of sanitation service providers, the fact that it's not all centralized, there's a lot more going on, and so there's a need for things to be much more localized. The partnerships are often South-South. There's a lot more potential for South-South partnerships. And then integrating diverse stakeholders within these partnerships. Obviously, just having the utilities involved isn't really going to change that much if the mandates are spread, including community-based service providers and organizations is also very important. And then facilitating and promoting partnerships for a diverse set of themes, like inclusive, climate-sensitive, and sustainable sanitation. So these are things that we're working to build. Oh, here, sorry, I didn't click as I spoke. These are the things. Thank you. So this is what we want to move forward with this in our work with GWAPA, and of course, you're the implementers, you're the operators. So we look forward to your inputs on how to do this and to learn from your experience. with these SWOPs. So thanks a lot for organizing this session, and look forward to hearing more.
Thank you, Julie, for giving us the insights about the processes and the program, how it will develop about this sanitation WOPs. And now I would like to move to the next speaker. Next speaker is joining online. So Asim Mansoori is our second speaker. He works with CWAS, CEPT University, India, and he has an extensive experience in wash sector in India, Nepal, and Africa. And he has worked with governments and sector partners at all levels, national, state, and city level. So Asim, are you online? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
And I believe you will control your own presentation.
Yes, would prefer to, yeah.
And we look forward to you. I think we have 15 minutes for you. Okay.
Thank you, yeah. Okay. Maybe I just share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is now.
Okay, great, perfect. Good morning, everyone. Uh, this is Asim Mansoori from Center for Water and Sanitation, CRDF at SEPT University in India. And happy to join. Apologies, I could not join in person due to some visa issues, but happy to be here to discuss about this initiative and this important topic around swaps, which has actually now taken into discussions post this swaps and all. Uh, so this presentation that I'm going to make is on around scaling up of whole this what Julie talked about, the citywide inclusive sanitations, but from cities to state and national level. That how this peer-to-peer learning from a city has gone to a state and then to a national level as well, and now also globally to some extent that we have been talking about. And this presentation will talk about the aspects that the city had implemented and how they are being scaled up at state and national level. This presentation that I'm making is on behalf of my team, which is a odd 40 team members, very strong research young team that we have in India, which have extensively worked on this, and this presentation is on behalf of all of them. Yeah. So moving on to the next. So before I move on to the actual work that the city has done, how this was scaled up, we need to recognize that India has actually made great strides in terms of the SDG 6.2 and attaining the whole open defecation free status, which happened from the period of 2014 to 19. And now that they have manage this access to toilets to all, they have now started to focus on the next phase, which is Swachh Bharat Mission or the Clean India Mission 2.0, where they are talking about the other part of the value chain. Now, in this context, when we are talking, when the Swachh Bharat talked about toilets, these cities, both now moving on to the city part, the journey, the both the cities, Vai and Sinnar, they were like the urban laboratories, and you can see the timeline. It was in 2013, before even India started to talk about open defecation free. These cities were like the urban laboratories for us, where these cities are actually in a range of population of around 100, almost 100,000, which is representative of almost 400,000 towns of India. So whatever we are able to do in terms of part or learning at this, the peer-to-peer learning can be done for 4,000 cities of India. So it was a very, I would say, a scalable model that we were trying to do in this urban laboratories. And now in 2023, these cities are recognized as lighthouse cities because they have done something very innovative around the whole scheduled desludging of septic tanks, having a fecal sludge treatment plant, municipal commitment, and the equitable service. I think Julie rightly mentioned in her presentation that the operators, in our case, the operators are the local governments, that there are mandate issues, finance issues, and all, and even the ring fencing. So some of these challenges that Julie mentioned are actually addressed by the work that these cities have actually done in this period till now. So, like any other city around India or in the world, I think there were many red flags. Like they were all septic tanks, but not being desludged regularly. Like 2 to 4% were only being cleaned annually, and it was all being disposed of in the open. This was the scenario in 2013 when the work actually started. And then the city actually decided, and they actually realized that it's important to manage the entire service chain. And these cities were the first cities in India in 2013 to pass such an executive order at a city level where they mandated themselves that they will do citywide inclusive, the citywide fecal septic management, include private sector for the financing, allocated land, and did this taxation type of mechanism to ring fence the revenue so that they can be used for the operations and maintenance. So this was a municipal commitment that came in without any state directives or national directives, because the city wanted to learn and share their experience and how to make a city more citywide inclusive sanitation in 2013. So, what the cities actually did, they realized that there was a need for a system change. We all know that due to low frequency of desludging, there are huge amount of environmental impacts which have led to manual scavenging, because you can't empty, at least in India and in the South Asia, if you don't desludge it regularly, the septage hardens and people have to lead to manual scavenging, which is actually it's a crime in India right now, and it's a prohibited thing, and you can be jailed for that. And because of this low frequency, there is high desludging cost, and generally people have to pay a distress fee, which is very high as compared to what people can normally pay for a regular septic tank desludging. So the city decided that we need to move away from this whole complaint redressal mechanism, wherein your septic tank gets full and you have to call the operator or the local government and they desludge against a fee. Where this city decided that let's provide an inclusive service where, like your SWM door-to-door collection, where your garbage gets collected daily without even getting going for a call. Here, all your septic tanks will be desludged once in 3 years as per the schedule, and they levied a sanitation tax, which is part of the annual property tax system. And people just pay that tax. And while the desludging happens, they don't have to pay any fee. So it's a notionally free service for them. And because of the scheduled load, we were actually able to predict the truck requirement and the treatment facility that was required. So it's a very optimized model for providing scheduled services. And this all services are inclusive because this includes everyone who does not have a septic tank. So you can see here is a map of Y where all these zones, zone 1 and 2 and 3, were desludged in each year. So in year 1, zone 1, year 2, zone 2, and year 3, zone 3. So all the septic tanks were covered. It's a mandatory desludging without link to user charges. For vulnerable pockets, you can see the small pockets. They were like the slum areas or highly dense areas where long pipes were provided so that desludging could happen. And it was equitable because nobody was paying, and it was a flat fee that all flat tax that all households were paying. And it was like $1 that the households were paying every year against the $10 or $15 that they used to pay previously for doing the that complaint redressal based or demand based desludging. So I think what Julie mentioned in terms of ring fencing and the whole financing part, this city did very innovative thing. They actually engaged with a private operator through a government. The local government engaged with a private operator, where the private operator brought in all the capital cost and the O&M cost, the human resource. They provided all the properties in the city that had a septic tank or desludging service. All the properties were paying a sanitation tax as a part of property tax to the local government, and through a ring fence mechanism of an escrow account, which was a tripartite between these two bodies, the POP and the bank, the funds were of this sanitation tax were being transferred to the desludging service provider based on their performance. And I'll be coming to that. So we called it that if it was a performance based contract. So if we were given a target of, let's say, 2,000 septic tanks a year, and you only did, let's say, 500 septic tanks, you're only paid for the 500 septic tanks and not for the 2,000 that you had actually bidded for. And we saw to it that the sludge reached to the treatment facility, then only the payment was made. And for that, we have done this innovative ICT tools around Sanitab and Sanitrack. Very important to recognize that you don't collect not to treat, you have to collect and treat and reuse as well. So this city set up a treatment facility of which were eco sensitive. So they're all solar based treatment facility where almost in the since their commissioning in 2013-19, 54 million liters of treated wastewater has been treated, the septage has been treated, and they have been able to create this beautiful urban forests. It's like an oasis in a desert. This whole site was actually a desert area on a rocky strata. Now it's actually converted into a green area. As you can see, this urban forest landscaping where all the treated water from the fecal sludge treatment plant is reused here. And you can see the previous photo before the work was started. And because of this, it's not only about the whole climate thing also, that because of this we are able to mitigate the climate, we are able to do carbon sequestration, we are able to mitigate the carbon emissions through the solar. We have also been able to engage with women SHGs to manage this whole area of urban forest, and we have seen that you can see no, there was no biodiversity, but now we have actually seen animals, birds coming in to this area and actually creating a biodiversity of it their own. As I was talking before that, it's a performance-based contract, and for this we had a paper-based mechanism, but we have now converted that into a ICT-based tool. It's similar to your Amazon service delivery app, where once the service is provided to you, you have to sign on that. So on a similar basis, this setup was done where you have to sign on the app and the services are actually logged, and you can actually see that that septage has actually also gone to the treatment plant operator, and the treatment plant operator also has to sign on that app. So because of this, we were able to close the whole loop of desludging, and we were able to monitor this through a dashboard. I think very important for this swap to work was also around awareness generation, and we use all types of paper-based as well as ICT tools to do awareness campaign. And because of this, and we are very happy to tell that this city of Vai had actually completed the first year cycle, where all the septic tanks, almost 3,600 septic tanks, have been desludged, covering 7,000 properties, and we have a 95% acceptance rate, which is actually excellent because people don't see the when they're paying that they don't pay during the desludging. So we had high acceptance rate for this, and the city on its own without our getting into them, we had a TA support for the first round, but they went on and did a second tender by themselves and engaged a private operator for the second year for second round of 3-year desludging. So I think this is the way the things have continued and institutionalized and mandated the city by themselves to do these activities. Apart from this, apart from all this performance and all, I think it's, as I said, there is a climate angle also to this whole activity, that because of regular desludging, we were able to actually also reduce the methane emissions from the septic tanks. There has been overall improvement in the ground and river water. Because of scheduled desludging, there was total reduction in nitrogen, suspended solids, and eventually, which was entering into the drains and the river water, that actually reduced. And because of which, we had done a 3-year longitudinal study of water quality of groundwater, river water, and it's actually improved because of scheduled desludging. As we are talking about the citywide inclusive sanitation, it's important to recognize and tell that women have been at the forefront for getting this as a successful swap, because the women elected representatives have actually been part of whole discussions. Sensitizing women at households was very important because they were the ones who were at home when the desludging services were being provided, and empowering them to make this happen was actually a great learning for us as well. And we felt that for any city to scale up scheduled learning, it's important to engage with women, and especially at the household level as well as at the executive wing and the elected wing. Sanitation worker safety was on the top priority as well, and because of this experience of the private operator and the sanitation workers, the city actually introduced the safety clauses for all their sanitation contracts. For solid waste management, for community public toilet management, they actually introduced clauses based on the experience of this contract in each of their contracts, and it's being scaled up in other cities as well. So, just to summarize, I think I talked about quite a few aspects around the mandates, the financing, the eco-sensitive fecal sludge treatment facility, the whole environmental angle of doing scheduled desludging, women engagement, sanitation worker safety. So everybody can say that you can do this in 2 cities, and it's easy to do because you have a strong team of 20 people. But I think what we need to recognize that we as a Center for Water and Sanitation don't believe in pilots, and we see to it that our learnings are being scaled up through a partnership model, what Guapa is talking about, the SWOP model, where we share these learnings with other cities in the state, and as well as the national and global level. So, for example, at state level in Maharashtra, we have a MOU with the government of Maharashtra to implement these activities at state level, because of which almost 300 fecal sludge treatment plants have been set up, and scheduled desludging is being discussed and will be implemented in these cities. At national level, we have been able to advocate the whole concept of scheduled desludging, the whole reuse aspect, carbon sinks, and all at the national level through policies and guidelines. And we also started to work at global levels in Nepal and Africa to share this experience and scale this up. And all this is done by peer to peer learning. Apart from the policy guidelines and the training support, we see to it that this city actually hosts the Y and Sindar. They host the cities from across the state as well as national level to their place and and share their learnings so that other cities can replicate that. And till now, if I remember correctly, almost 2000 plus stakeholders from both India and globally have actually come to these cities and learned how they have to replicate or how these activities can be done in their context. And again, we need to acknowledge that alone CWAS would not be able to do this, and we had to collaborate and partner with our funders, of course, the Gates and the HSBC, but especially the government partners, the government of Maharashtra, the cities, governments of Y and Sinnar. And at national level, we have been able to scale through the National Fecal Sludge Septate Management Alliance, because of which some of the experience that we have in these cities and the state of Maharashtra, we have been able to advocate at national level through policies and guidelines. So it's a very interesting journey of how we started from a city to a state, national level through the partnership model and peer-to-peer learning model. Uh, Thank you. I think in case you have any questions or queries, you can actually reach out to me on this email ID. But most of our work is documented on our website, cwas.org.in. We have a benefit of being an academic organization, so we put everything on our website. So it's an open access, and you can actually have a look at the materials as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Asim. Thank you, Asim, for interesting, inspiring, experiences. How a university, or you can say a non-profit, is able to feed into the national sanitation agenda, and the water and sanitation agenda is integrated. So thank you very much. I believe you will stay with us all through the session.
Yes.
Because we have also
Yes,
given you some role. So now I would move on to the next part of the session, where we have our international partners who have come together to bring experiences, and we call it a pitch presentations, short pitch presentations. This is a 15 minutes session where we have 5 minutes each pitch from our partner or co-organizers of this session. So I would like to call upon Waterlinks, and on behalf of Waterlinks, we have two speakers who would be joining here for the first pitch. We have V. Soon Guan from IWK, India Water Consortia, and Surya Bharti Maji from Odisha Water Supply and Sewerage Board. So I believe both of them are there in person. And to call upon the first, excuse me, you want to come first? Okay. So, if I can ask the Waterlink speaker, I'm sorry, I do not have the detail about you. Yeah, but yeah. So if you want to introduce them, yeah. You can use here. Sorry.
So, I hope I can be heard. Good morning. I'm Yolanda Gomez. I'm the facilitator from Waterlinks, and I'm going to do the pitch about our WOP, which we hope at the end of the 36 months period of this implementation will be able to contribute towards the achievement of SDG on sanitation. So Waterlinks is an NGO. We are based in the Philippines, and we are the GWOPA platform in Asia. And today we are going to share with you how our WOPs are working together from a mentor and mentee's perspective. We have somebody from Malaysia, IWK, which is our mentor, and also from a mentee perspective from India. And given the very short pitch, come and join us in our table. So when you come and join us, it's not only to learn about our WOPs, but also it's like visiting Banjarmasin and Orissa. Thank you.
So we would have the two speakers from whose name I announced. They will be available on the table along with water links. You can go to that respective table. And there are no tables, but there are corners. The first group would be in this room, okay? The second pitch is by the German Water Partnership, and we have George Opperman, and we have Yazan Dabas. So would you introduce your presentation?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Our partnership between Miyahuna and Hans Basar in experiences in energy analysis in Madaba wastewater treatment plant. First, we have there are three pillars of energy efficiency when all processes are running properly. The first one, efficient production and possibilities to produce renewable energy on site, whether using solar energy or sludge or biogas. And the second one, which we concentrate in our presentation, is efficient consumption and approaches to show possible saving options by operating the plant in the ideal way that will save energy. And the third one, attention from the employees and following up the wastewater employees to all equipment are working well and give ideas for operating the equipment in proper way. And here is our pictures from how the work was going on, and you can see that all the engineers and technicians, electrical or mechanical electricians, are participating in the check analysis and check and the analysis. And now I give my place to my colleagues.
Thank you. At the end of the energy analysis, we can show the results in different graphics. We can show, you see on the left side, how much energy we need in real and how much we should have needed. This is the second bar. And the third is the potential we have and the area we have this potential. It is in the biological treatment, it is in the mechanical treatment. On the right side, we can also see in different bars which aggregates have the most effect in energy saving on the energy consumption of our complete plant. And in the middle, the circle is a graphic we can show, first of all, how much energy we really need. That is the biggest part. And the other one, for example, in green is that are different options we have, but we need a big investment for that, and the return of invest will be in 10 or more years. So we can translate energy consumption into the speech of our utility management in euro, dollar, or Jordanian dinar. And that is very important to get from a technical part to the management utility part and to get a funding for energy options. So we would ask you to come over to our table to exchange ideas, and we have a lot of our partners, international and German partners, here at our table to discuss about how to save energy options you have maybe realized or we have realized, and we can exchange about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, George and Yazan, for this short pitch. So now I would move to the third pitch from Vitens Evides International. And we have a speaker connecting remotely for this short pitch is Mrs. Jaituni Rihama from Nakura Water. And is the speaker online? Just to give you a brief background about Jaituni, she is a sociologist by profession. She holds a master's degree in community development and bachelor's degree in social work and diploma in community development. She works for Nakura Water and Sanitation Company as a low-income consumer manager. So can we have the online speaker to give a short speech?
Yes, please, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we are not able to see you still.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me see. My camera is on.
Just give us a few minutes. Yeah, we are trying to sort it out here.
Can you hear me? Or I can continue without the camera?
Just give us a couple of seconds. I'm waiting for the logistics teams to tell us whether they are ready. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can see you now, and you are loud and clear. Please go ahead with your short pitch, 5 minutes. And I believe you have a presentation also. You want?
Yes. You have my presentation, or should I share? You have my presentation.
Yes, you can tell us when you want us to change the slides, and I would request we will control from here. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. As mentioned, I'm Zaituni Kanenja. I work for Nakuru Water and Sanitation Company. Nakuru Water is one of the SWOPs under the Vitens Evidence International, and the company's mandate is to provide water and sanitation services in Nakuru County. And being a water and sanitation company, we have noted that most utilities actually in Kenya or maybe everywhere, their focus is only on water or wastewater, but not really looking at on-site sanitation. Yet, for example, the company which I work for, that is Nakuru Water, sanitation coverage, that is sewer coverage, is only 30%. So that means majority of the population, that is 70%, is on-site sanitation. And in most cases, you find that the people that are being affected most with are the people in the low-income areas. So as Nakuru Water and Sanitation Company, we are looking at not only servicing people through sewer system, but also on-site sanitation systems, which I am going to share with you some of the interventions that we are doing through our partners and the county and the Nakuru County. Yeah. So next slide, please.
Yes, I think there's a presentation on.
Yeah. So that is Nakuru Water and Sanitation Company, which is a water company, but we are also doing a lot on sanitation and mainly on-site sanitation, because the largest population actually is on.
Kenya. Next, please. Jaituni, are you there? Is Siemens around here? Siemens?
Yes, I am.
So would you able to help us if we have problems with the connection? So I know you had volunteered, so sorry.
But not as a plan B, but plan C, D or E. I can try.
So just give us an overview. We will go to the table and
yes, we go. Yes.
Sorry, maybe.
Okay, that is back. Okay. Jaituni, can you hear us?
No. I think what she will do in the table when we are coming together is that Nakuru Water is one of the exceptional water utilities in our area for SWOPs where we are working in that has taken up its challenge on sanitation. Most of our utilities where we work with have no real interest in talking about sanitation. And that's the thing I would like very much to share with you, how to deal with that. Because the problem is that those utilities, first of all, have already problems to finance their own running operational costs, to justify their investments. And then take up the challenge of sanitation is a little bit a problem. It's dirty business. It's not financially covering the costs. On the other hand, we force them to talk about it because sanitation is threatening their water resources, it's polluting their water resources, and with global climate change coming up, it's steaming up the pressure to the water companies all over the world, even in Europe, to deal with sanitation. because we have to protect our groundwater and our surface water resources because we need them badly. Now, that is more or less the discussion I want to have with you, how to find the entry to get utilities engaged for their own interest in sanitation.
Fantastic. So we will break out into 3 rooms, and the pitch 1 Waterlinks group would be here in the same room, and we would have the Waterlinks people can they volunteer, and the person who's people who want to be here, they can be here with this group, and I think you can make 2 rounds of the 3 because with the time permitting, you may not be able to go to all the 3. But if you can complete 2 in 15 minutes each and then come back to this room, that's what the plan is. And for the Group 2 German Water Partnership, we have George and Yazin. So you are taking, your people will follow you who want to join this group. And Siemens, you are the 3rd group. You are also outside. So we come back in 30 minutes time. 30 minutes. And you can go to 2 groups, like 15 minutes each. So each group can interact 15 minutes. And do come back at, after 30 minutes. And so for the online participants, Asim is online, and there could be a 4th group which can interact with Asim. They can pose their questions or interact with Asim, the online participants. But we will connect with you after half an hour from here, from Bonn. Thank you very much. Maybe you want to speak something, or?
So for those interested, please move forward so our mentor and mentee can share. Can I go back to my?
Sir,
So that
you want to
presentation?
go to presentation? Then
Yeah.
we'll have to tell them. No, this can't go from here. They follow a sequence.
Okay.
You want your presentation?
Yeah, just this one. Yeah, my presentation.
I'll ask them to do it.
Yeah, okay. So for Waterlinks, we're going to share with you our current WOP, which is really focused on sanitation. One is in Banjarmasin. We have our mentee, PDPAL Banjarmasin, and we also have our mentor, IWK, which is the sanitation service provider from Malaysia. So from a mentor's perspective, we want Mr. Wee to say something about our work together with the Indonesians.
Thank you, Ms. Yoli. Very good morning to everyone. Morning. So firstly, allow me to just announce that Water recently, 2 weeks ago, received the Distinction Award for Public Water Agency of the Year in Berlin, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Water, being a national sewage service provider for Malaysia, has been 28 years serving the whole country except the East Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak. So we have a 28 years journey, and our international footprints, we have involved in sharing the partnership from many countries, probably like India, Nepal, Philippines. So the most recent is with the Waterlink. It's a partnership between Waterlink, Inawater, and the mentee is Bandar Masin, a city with 1,000 rivers. They name it Venice of the East. So it's very interesting, actually. So we started last year in 2022. This project lasts for 3 years, 36 months, yeah. Okay. For the first year, we have achieved, which we are happy that for all the parties, firstly, we focus on the manpower, the human resource. So we have the online training, discussions, and we build up the competency metrics for the mentee to identify, see, what are the training needs, all that. So the second area that we focus is on the sewage treatment plants and the dislodging. So on that, we did a site visit to the Bandar Masin's treatment plant. Then we had a discussion. Probably the follow-up will be mostly, we'll concentrate this year. Meaning like for the dislodging, we will build up the database. See, in terms of dislodging, as mentioned by Mr. Asim, India, right, to reduce the pollutions that is what we are talking about, sanitation, all that. So it's more likely that it's better to do it in terms of scheduling it. As what one of the slides shown that they managed to achieve in the first cycle at the stage of 95%, which to me is a very great successful, yeah. Okay, the third area that we are focusing is on the stakeholders, involvement of the stakeholders. So we already had the meeting up with the mayor of Banjarmasin, and it's a very good response. And the mayor has put a 3-year target for the Banjarmasins. So I will hand the floor to Ms. Yoli, that what we have been doing.
This is the kind of work that we do in Banjarmasin, and we really hope at the end of our partnership that we have developed higher utility-wide capacities to effectively manage, for Banjarmasin to effectively manage its wastewater and sanitation program. So I'd like also you to hear the other WOP that we are doing, which is in India. So we have our mentee here to speak about the things that we are doing. All of these are really geared towards building capacities, helping utilities, and at the higher level, the country achieve its sanitation targets.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suryavarti Maji, Deputy Project Engineer employed in Odisha Water Supply Sewage Board. So basically, OWSSB looks after the urban Odisha, sanitation in urban Odisha. So the urban population is around 7 million in Odisha. So we take care about the sanitation part. We are basically the technical support, providing technical support for the sanitation to the urban local bodies. So regarding the WOP partnership regarding this project, so this is the second year running. The first year performance was really good. We had a fantastic interaction with the team. The mentors are from SMAT, co-mentors are from Hydroid and Polytechnic of Turin, and Waterlinks is coordinating everything. So the main working areas are gender mainstreaming and social inclusion, WOP project management, program support, and sanitation and wastewater management. So it is further divided into 4 major sub-working areas in which we have 4 mentees who are guided and mentored by 4 individual mentors. And the 4 sub-working areas are drainage sewerage network modeling, low-cost technology for grey water treatment and septage, treated wastewater and sludge reuse, solution to improve wastewater process. So in the last 1 year of the partnership, basically we are in the process of exchanging the data, as we have already existing setup in place for the sanitation and all the treatment of wastewater. So now we are exchanging the information with the mentors to improve the facility, how to improve the facility, how to improve the treatment process, how to have inclusive of community partnership. Because basically our plants, they are taken care by community people, the self-help groups, the women groups, the transgender groups. As our plants are basically low-cost technology, they are gravity-based low-cost technology, so they are taken care by the community people who are residing nearby. So the basic target is how to mainstream the gender, how to make them capable, and how to improve the process that is already existing in place. And regarding the waste, treated water that is coming out and the sludge, so we are in the process of experimenting and piloting the process of co-composting, and also various discussion is going on with the mentors how to reuse the treated water, because currently it is being used in the landscaping area of the plant. So how to better have a business model for the treated wastewater. So I hope we'll have some better to improve the performance of the plant, as well as to have a better community partnership and to enhance their performance and their engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there are any questions or clarifications, so clearly this is an initiative that is really geared towards improving sanitation, because we all know that in terms of meeting the SDG targets, while the picture is not so good in terms of the overall SDG target for water and sanitation, we also know that sanitation is really lagging behind. So we are hoping that with this kind of partnership that pushes sanitation at the core of its activity, that we will be able somehow to make a difference in making sanitation program better implemented, and with the help of the mentor and with the also the acceptance from the mentee, we can do better work in sanitation service provision. It's still too early to conclude, because this is just like we have just completed year 1 of this partnership, but we are really hopeful, looking at how things are evolving at the mentee level, and looking also at the perseverance of the mentor to really reach out to the mentee and share experiences, knowledge, as well as learning to make things better in the different utilities. So if there are any questions, the mentor, Mr. Wee, and mentee from OWSSB is ready to ask questions, no, to answer your questions, actually. For Waterlinks, this is, while we have done completed 80 water operators partnership program, we have very few actually in the area of sanitation, which reflects that until now, sanitation really doesn't rate high in agenda, because it's not sexy, you know. But we are really trying, and together with GEOPA and the other international funding organization, we hope that in the coming years we will make, not really maybe achieve sanitation, because it's also too difficult, but making a dent on the sanitation sector. Yeah? And we also are hopeful that with the operators partnership, a peer-to-peer approach, this would be made possible. And in the case of Banjarmasin, we are really lucky, I think, that we get the support of the local government unit in the person of the mayor himself. Because personally, I think commitment from the highest level of governance is really necessary and critical if we want to make a change. And in the case of Orissa, what is really interesting in that one is the stakeholder engagement, the engagement of the women's group. In Orissa, they turned over the management and operation of the septage treatment plant to the self-help group. The self-help group are really women, and some of them are transgender. So this is really also an effort to showcase that self-help groups, women's groups, can also be made partner in achieving the sanitation targets. Okay, so questions? Yeah. Clarifications? Round one?
Yeah, we're almost through round one, but please, if you have questions, please post.
Yes, please. Question to the mentor or mentee is okay.
Actually, I've got a question to Orissa State. Thanks for the presentation. It's super interesting. My name's Kit. I'm from UNICEF's regional office in Middle East, North Africa. I'm super interested about the engagement of the self-help groups and the fact that it's women, a lot of women and trans people. How do you go about making sure that because it's women and trans groups, it doesn't become part of their marginalization? It doesn't make them even more vulnerable because they're now dealing with sewage and septic waste.
So,
Thanks.
Good question. So actually I want to state a fact that before the engagement of these women and transgender in our plant, basically they were not earning anything. They were sitting at home, and now they are proud to be earning something. They were marginalized in another way, that they were not earning anything. They were just sitting at home, dependent on their maybe husband or fathers for money. So now when we visit the plant, when people interact with them, they are really happy that they are part of the society in making the society a better place to live in, and with that they are also earning money, and we also train them. It's not that we just bring them and allow them to take over the plant. We give them training, 2 months on-site training. We give them proper training how to handle the pumps, how to handle the septage in a safe way, how to run the plant. Alongside that, there is a technical resource person in the plant, which is employed by the SHGs. It may be a transgender, it may be female, but basically the qualification has to be BSc chemistry, minimum. Graduation in chemistry, so that she can take care of the lab and can help the SHG in maintaining the records and taking the overall charge of the plant. So basically they are very happy because they live nearby the plant, so they don't have the transportation cost. They are coming, they are a group of 10 people. So at a time, you don't need to be, all the 10 people don't need to be employed in the plant. So maybe 3 or 4 people are coming, they are working in shifts, and they are earning money. They are also doing their household work, and they are proud to be part of the sanitation chain that is making the city clean. Thank you.
And if I may add, I have met the self-help group, very confident women, and while I don't speak Orya, we asked them when we went there in November, like how does it feel to be working in this setup? So they said that at the beginning, the family are not really happy with this one, yeah? Because the concept that sanitation is something dirty. But when the family saw that it's not really that one, because if you have seen the plant that we visited in Jatni, you can see that there are flowering plants and all those things. And I think what is important here is that recognizing the ability of the women really, yeah? Because we have also to understand that the women are doing multitask, both productive and they're assuming both productive and reproductive role. So on the part of the partnership of the WOP, the plan is for the mentor, because we have done like a TNA, training needs assessment for the self-help group, just to help them, improve their capacity and be able to cope with what is happening. So one of the things that we are planning to do this year is to develop a simple guideline and carry out a training on how they can manage their generator, the DigiSet, because they don't need to call the men, right, Tanya? Yeah, and also the other thing that we want to do for the self-help group is really to help them to be able to do the right protocol in collecting the samples, because they collect the samples and they also do the recording of these things. But maybe on the part of the Banjarmasin Pidipal WOP, I think what is coming here very strongly is the support of the local government. I really believe that the presence of the mayor when we were there and all the support that we got is really a big thing, a boost. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, there should be someone, at the end of this partnership, there must be someone strong enough. Yeah? So I think it's the political will that will carry out. And if I may say so, in Banjarmasin, they have their own sanitation program. While not much has been achieved in the last few years, but now with this initiative, with this partnership, together with the strong support from political leaders, we hope that it will move and perhaps, hopefully, achieve the sanitation target of the province of Banjarmasin. Yeah. Okay. Round one is off.
I just have a quick short announcement. Yeah, round one is almost off, but then I also noticed that the other tables, they prefer to stay and discuss more, so feel free to. I haven't seen much movement, even though we offered it. Really? So they're sticking to where they are. So they are discussing more, so feel free to continue.
Okay,
but
so
if you would like to ask questions to other table, also you feel free to move. Yeah. But we will have about 10, 12 minutes left before we come back together here.
So I'm not sure if everybody has, put on the questions or clarifications. They're not moving. I wish. Ajit, they're not moving? They don't want to visit Banjarmasin and Orissa? Okay, so maybe we can just continue our discussion. Sure. Yeah.
Would be nice to hear more.
Yeah. Maybe from the perspective of the mentor, I'd like to ask, what do you think would be, is it right to say that since we are really lagging in sanitation, and then one of the critical approach or tool really is to have this kind of partnership? Yeah? From your perspective, actually, being a mentor not only this time, but few times before.
Yeah, in terms of perspective, okay, I would say that the word partnership, you see, is very important, you see, and it's very meaningful. You see, when you partnership, we work together. So, like the mentor being the experience, so we will continue learning to get the experience. See. Whereas for the mentee, right, they get the experience from the experience. So it's a vice versa, see. So it's good for both parties. So in terms of Banjarmasin, towards the end, of course, there's target. So at least there's a build-up in the database and initially the way forward, right, how to carry out the shadow dislodging. That is very important. Rather than we are waiting for customer to call. Whereas in Malaysia, we call that demand, meaning that customer call for the service. So of course, the numbers is very low. Right? It's better that we approach them. Then only we can see the results.
So I remember something. So if the mountain doesn't come to Muhammad, or if Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain, then the mountain. Something like that. Yeah. But questions or clarifications from the back? Please don't be shy. We're a small group. But as I have said, this is also, yes.
I wanted to find out about the women again. Do they also go out to dislodge, load the fecal sludge on the truck and then take them to the treatment plant, or they're just limited to the treatment plant? And then is it mechanized, is it manual? Maybe you can give a few highlights on that.
So I can ask the mentor. I can also ask the mentee from would you prefer to the mentor? Mentee or mentor? Is it for the women group? Okay. Exciting women group.
So basically the SHGs are employed in the plant. The transport and collection of the septage from the septic tanks, that are being done by cesspool vehicles. So vehicles are operated by men currently, but we are in the process of handing over the cesspool vehicles also to transgenders and women. So they will employ registered drivers who have the valid license and who are trained, properly trained, how to collect the septage and dislodge in the plant. So currently they are not employed, but we are in the process of handing over the collection and transportation of septage from the septic tanks by cesspool vehicles to the transgenders after giving proper training and with proper PP kit.
So it's really an experience to watch the women's group. And this is not only happening in the pilot area in Jatni, but it's happening all over Orissa, actually. And maybe what I want just to emphasize that even before the partnership, the self-help group were already there. So what the partnership is intending to do is really just help the self-help group women, the women's group, improve their capacity to manage the treatment plants.
So your focus is on SDG 6.
Of the partnership. Yeah? So as part of the monitoring tool of GWOPA for all its ongoing WOP, there is something that, like, we provide data. Yeah? But at this point in time, if you look at the interventions that are happening both in Banjarmasin and in Orissa, it's more on the soft side. So it's very difficult at this point in time to say that because we have trained so much of the women, this means that so much also has increased in the number of people with access. And I think it will take some time to really be able to be, to state that this is happening. But as I have said, at this point in time, what we are looking at is improving the capacity of the service providers. Yeah? Like Banjarmasin is the service provider, and also Banjarmasin has issues. Not all are willing to be connected. So there is really a need to put a program to reach out to the stakeholder, which is happening. And the program for this stakeholder engagement is to be implemented soon, with mentor providing all the technical advices on how to go about it. And actually, from the perspective of Waterlinks, which is the facilitator, we also find it a bit difficult to equate the soft side of things that we are doing into the number of toilets that would be constructed or improved or what. So we hope that in the next 24 months, we will be able to come up with some measures that would really emphasize that the WOP, through the intervention, something has happened in the number of.
We have a question from Asim.
Yes, Asim. I can't hear you. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think it's interesting discussion. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So I have a question for the mentor. I wanted to understand that what was the one key learning, or maybe let's say two key learnings that you actually said the Odisha, the OWSSB team to not to do or adapt on how it needs to be done, based on your own experience. That were there any learning curves that you said that you had in your work that you were able to translate to your mentee as well?
Okay, Asim, the
Yes.
question is, come again?
My question is for we.
Mr. Wee is a mentor for
Yes.
Banjarmasin, yeah? Not
Yes. Yes. Yes.
OWSSB. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I know. Yes. Yes. So I have a question from him. So he meant. So what was the key learning that he actually had during his work that he actually shared with OWSSB, that this is how it needs to be done on any one of the activity?
Okay, the question is, what are the learnings
Yeah.
of Mr. Wee as a mentor that they can share
Yeah.
to OWSSB?
Yes. Yes.
We will attempt, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Oh, a question that I have to answer, it cross over to the other side. Oh, no. Yeah, so it's just to share what need to be done in terms of particularly the dislodging, right? So on the dislodging, of course, the approach is need to be continuously being done. So you can't just stop at certain stage. Certain stage. For example, like in Malaysia, what we did is that for the past 28 years, we have series of changes how we do the shadow dislodging. So the most recent is that we engage with the authorities that we will provide the service, shadow dislodging, by sending notices until at a certain stage that we will send a report to the government bodies for the next action. Then only I believe your works. See? So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Right.
Wee.
Thank you.
I would like to, I have a mic. So, I would like to request all the participants who are outside for other groups to please join in. We will go to the next part of this session. And can we have Asim back on the screen, the online speaker? We would have the Mentimeter section now. Asim, are you in control from outside?
Yes.
Okay,
Once
good.
everyone is there in the room, just let me know.
Yeah.
I'll share my screen.
So how this would work is that our speaker Asim would manage Mentimeter from backside, and we would have two set of questions, and we would like to have you respond on that, and then we will summarize that before we conclude the session here. So is everybody in? Yeah, please go ahead, Asim.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So may I request all of you to, on your phones, if you can, or on your laptops, or if you can scan this code or type on www.menti.com and enter this code. I'll wait for 2 minutes on this slide. Yeah, I can see 5 people have joined. 6. Okay.
Yes. I'm doing well. Yes, yes. I just want to put them on in OneNote.
So you can go to the website like www.menti.com and use the code.
Okay, so I'll move on. I think I can see around 30 odd participants have joined. So this link is still there.
Give
I'll just
it
move on
10
to
seconds more, Asim. 10 seconds. There's some people scanning the code here.
Okay, no
If
problem.
anybody wants to come forward and scan, if there is a problem, please come ahead. Yeah. Okay, please go ahead, Asim.
Okay, let me also scan, yeah.
Yes.
And there are two
From where
questions.
is
So the only first question, Asim, you can read out
Okay.
so that.
Yeah. So I think the first question to all of you, and in case somebody is still trying to log in, here
Jason
is
was
the website and the
but
code.
Atika was there, someone from
So
Kiwasa.
the first question that
And he
we
explained,
have for all of you is
made
that
it very
based on
clear
whatever you have
that
heard
one
during
thing
the
for this,
entire session,
for this
during the
introduction
group work as well as that,
is
what
the
is one
only
key
way
element for a
that
successful
we have
walk
to tell.
that you feel? Only one
To
element.
be able
So if you can type your answers, that would be great.
So you can see the answers, what people are attempting, and the key takeaways for the first question here. And Asim will help us summarize it.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, great. So I think we have a response from around. Okay, it's still going on, so I'll wait for some time. Yeah.
But interesting keywords you can see on the screen that what people are learning through these breakout sessions, what is emerging from.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sureshji, you want? So we have 71 responses already. You want
Yes.
to summarize,
No,
Sureshji?
I have taken a screenshot of this. Is this the first question? No, there's one more question.
Yeah, this is the first question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll move on to the next question. Uh, okay. So based on the breakout discussions and the presentation that you had heard in the first session where I made it virtually, what do you think were the two key takeaways from the discussions? If you could share that, that would be great. Yeah. Two key takeaways. This could be statements. So the idea is that whatever you will share here, we will hopefully summarize that as a note.
In this, you can give a longer statement also, because we will use this to develop a report which we have to develop. So we have 29 answers as compared to the
Yeah, sure.
previous question we had 70. So if you can move fast and So we are losing some people behind. Asim, but people can see the answers here. You want to hide
Yes.
because they might be repeating the same thing.
No, it's all right. I think it's a learning platform, so
Yeah.
we should be able to read everybody. Okay. So I think people can continue to post the answer. I'll just
Yes.
stop sharing this thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so over to you, Sureshi, for summarizing.
Yes, I think Asim, thank you very much for the interesting tech support which you provided us on tech support you provided us for this session. I would like to use this opportunity to summarize few things. The second question was though a little descriptive one, and we do have we intend to use the second question's answers in the report, as well as we intend to develop a paper which will feed into an IWA and GUAPA special issue. But the one which I want to summarize is the first question, and based on that, I would like to share that what was emerging was very interesting to see that the three top things which were emerging in today's discussions were that collaboration and partnership was highlighted as the main point, and then commitment was also emerging as one as the area for key takeaways. And then there was another two or three other things which are standing out in today's discussions, roundtable discussions, for understanding, management support, and strong leadership. I think these were the words which I was picking up from the Mentimeter, how they were put together. And there are other side elements, obviously, which are stable funding, political will, and these things are the enabling frameworks which are required for happening of sanitation WOPs. I think that is very important. And in terms of the final remarks and takeaways, I would say that we are building this outcome of this workshop would be that we would like to have a paper developed which would go as a part of a special issue due in September. The other thing is that we would raise this issue at different regional, national, and global level meetings. And one of the meetings which is coming up is the IWA Kigali workshop. We would develop a further extended session over there to discuss this and highlight the need for sanitation WOPs. So we would like to invite you all people to the IWA Kigali workshop happening in December. And you can find more details. You can scan this and you can visit our website. And also, I would like to, thank two people who have forgotten to mention. There are two reporters who are here sitting in this room who are helping me with this work, and we would be developing a report. One is Julia, yeah, and we also have one more reporter. I'm forgetting her name, Josephine, I think. Yeah, Josephine. Yeah. So both of them had agreed to take key points, and we intend to document this. And I don't know whether organizers would be able to share the contacts of people who participated. We can also share the report. Otherwise, we will find a way how to disseminate, but we will come back to the participants with further how we extend this initiative to the next level. And we look forward to collaborative work with all the co-conveners of this session in the coming platforms. They are regional and global platforms. So I would like to thank all the co-conveners for this session. Would like to say that sanitation is much more complex, but yes, sanitation is the game changer. And if we can fix the sanitation problems, then I think the water resilience and the climate agenda, we would be able to address those issues which are aimed at making cities more wise, cities more resilient, and address the other factors which there were interesting presentations, very diverse presentations, where we were talking about high-tech solutions on energy savings and addressing climate change, On the other side, we were discussing, on-site sanitation systems being emptied, and there are a lot of learnings from that experience. And it was not just that, the private sector. We were looking at a university in India was able to move the agenda and provide support to the local bodies and utilities. So we need diverse sector players who could scale up this agenda, and we all hope that we will further continue to build discussions around this and push this agenda for the water operators partners to be extended to have sanitation agenda as the leading agenda for the coming years to accelerate accelerate our progress towards SDGs. I think with that, I would like to say thank you to all for coming over for this session, and a few announcements to make today for the day. We have a event here in this room at 12 o'clock. That's why I'm also keeping an eye on that watch. This is Susanna Meets the Water Operators. It's in Kleiner Saal room. Okay, so that's at 12 o'clock. And there is also another pre-launch of global report on sanitation and wastewater management in cities and human settlement. That is in the same room at 12:30. So that's the second announcement. The third announcement is that we have a side event on equity, inclusion, equitable water and sanitation provision in low income areas and informal settlements. That's in this room at 1:30. So we would be talking about similar issues on sanitation, equity, diversity, and we look forward to seeing you at some of these sessions. And I would like to invite you to all to join us at Kigali IWA Water and Development Congress. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all the conveners, to Ajit, who has provided all support. We have been working together, Josephine, and all other colleagues who have been directly, indirectly involved. My team, who was putting together all these presentations. Yes. So I would like to invite the conveners of this session on the dais here, the main conveners, Waterlinks, WaterX, who are here. We could have a group photograph. And for the participants, we would like to say thank you very much for joining us today. So can I request the representatives from our convening organizations to come on the dais, and we could have a group photograph. And I don't know how we bring the online participant on. Yeah. So can we have the online participant on if he can join for a group photograph? I don't know. No? Okay, that's fine. We'll have a Photoshop thing for. No, he can't join. Sure. So we'll find a way to fix it. So Ajit is able to help us. Where is Ajit? Or Ajit, can you help us with the photograph? Please. Can you make it double? Asim is here. Do we want to sit down? Maybe Asim is here. We have Asim also here. Maybe sit down. Maybe that's better. Yeah. Come, Shabana, you are the key. Yeah. Come, please sit here. Yeah. Yes. But she's also. Yeah, we want you also here. Yeah, we also want you. Claudia, you are the main person. Please, we want you also. Yes, and we want Asim also. Thank you. Thank you, Asim. Thanks for all support. And thanks to all participants who have taken out, who are online. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks to all the logistics support. Yeah, please, man.